Good morning. Welcome to a okay. Welcome to a fabulous, fantastic Friday. Today is a day of again learning something new in life, and let's take it forward and learn so much more. So without further delay, let's start our Pixie programming and let's go for it. Yes. Each one of us is a believer. Each one of us is an achiever, and all our dreams are coming true. That's the power of dreams. How wonderful. So let's start this fantastic Friday with some fantastic advice from Luke Cotino, and let's see what he's bringing our way in terms of a lifestyle change. I'm not sure how many of you have already started to intertwine yourself with these new learnings, but if we start bringing that into action, we will have a much healthier body, and having a healthier body would result in our spirituality being higher, in our mental levels being better, in our bodily structure being better, and everything will be so much better. So you are doing a favor for your mind, body, and soul. So thank you, Meenakshi, for saying, and have a great time in Goa. We saw your abundance picture. It is really beautiful. All right, then. So today is about number 15. Many of you may not have heard this at all, but it is very beautiful. It is amazing when you get to know more about it. It is as simple as making a lifestyle change in your life. Sorry. And realizing that all of us are in this journey where we're evolving. So bodily, we'll talk about limiting somatostatin production in our body. So one mistake I see a lot of people making all the time is the choice of food they consume after their workout. So Luke Cotino is very sure, and I don't know how many of you have seen. Let's understand what he's about to say. So if you eat something that has refined sugar or high fructose corn syrup, which could be included in your sports drink, the gato drinks which you're having after your workouts, or the colored drinks, or the sugary protein bars, or the cupcakes and chocolates, you are wiping out all the good work you did by exercising. So I don't know how many of you know, but in the gyms, there are cafes. So first you go and work out, and then you just eat all the extra calories immediately and gone finito, though you may feel great about it. So you may feel that your body will burn those calories rapidly, but that's one mistake most people make. For the last few years, I've been observing marathon runners. Despite being able to complete marathons or the intensive trainings, quite a few of them have pot bellies. That doesn't make sense because if you're training that much, you should really have the body of a runner. But most people have excess fat because they have cupcakes or protein bars after runs. As explained earlier, this is so problematic because of the production of a hormone called somatostatin. Somatostatin is produced in the hypothalamus region of the brain, and an increase in the production leads to a decrease in the thyroid stimulating hormone and human growth hormone. Human growth hormone helps you lose weight and build lean muscle mass. So somatostatin is also produced in the pancreatic region. And when the level of the hormone increases, insulin increases. By now, you know in detail what happens when you have low levels of insulin. As somatostatin is also produced in the stomach, it inhibits secretion of gastrin, which is required for digestion. This doesn't mean you would never have anything with high glucose and high fructose corn syrup if you're really craving it. But one change you should make is to wait for minimum 2.5 hours or 3 for any sort of workout. Of course, Luke Cortino talks about 2.5 hours. So again, completely up to you. But 3 hours is advisable. Remember, 3 is the number of creation as well. So if you are working out, give your body that 3 hours rest. Go take a shower. Go do whatever. Because somatostatin makes the body store fat and reduces HGH, which is the human growth hormone, and TSH, which is the thyroid stimulating hormone. People feel fatigued after a run, even though they've really eaten well. So now let's understand. The elevated sugar levels are depleting the potassium, the magnesium, the copper, and the trace minerals in our brain, as well as the body, when we are training or when we're running. That's why people may have spasms in between workouts or runs. I don't know how many of you are into athletic lives. There are spasms. Your body starts just contracting and there's spasms. That's only happening because it's depleting your main minerals, right? So now what do you do about it? So replace all the high sugar food we have been craving with something as effective as coconut water, lemon water with jaggery, or water with Himalayan pink salt. We've talked about the science, which is why if you see the nice parks in your colonies or your areas, your cities, you have a dabwala bhaiya sitting outside. Or these days, you even have organic juice people there. And that is really advisable, your veggie smoothies or your dab pani, because that is going to make the somatostatin production in your body perfect the way it's supposed to be. So work out, walk, do yoga, whatever, but don't think you've done it so you can afford anything that you can eat. So the next 3 hours are pivotal, at least 2 hours. So if possible, nothing, but if you really must have, then your dab pani is a good idea. So thank you, Rahul sir, for showcasing this book for all of us. It's time we now move on to our next book for the day. And this book is really amazing. All of us are working on it. So magic book, and I hope we are hearing the extra sessions which Amrita has been sending to all of us. If not, it's never too late. Please understand, I began my journey with a magic book on 19th of August with chapter 18. So you are still better. You're still on chapter 16. So that is what all of us can really evolve. So let's understand what is today all about. So while Luke Cotino is talking to us about health every morning, even today Rhonda Byrne is talking to us about health. She's saying our life can be full of magic and miracles in our health. So if you look at the left picture, you have a picture of a magical elixir. There are transparent bottles, small little bottles. Now this elixir is what you are giving yourself of gratitude. So Saint Augustine, who was born in 354, crossed over in 430, a theologian and Catholic bishop, said a very beautiful line, a very profound line. Miracles are not contrary to nature, but only contrary to what we know about nature. So if all of us trust the process, our life can only become magical. We will become very healthy, very energized. But again, I keep repeating, do not have any limiting beliefs. In fact, I would say, start having enhancing beliefs that I can do whatever I desire because I deserve it. So your age, your body weight, your any kind of inability, which you talked about in Steve Scott's book also yesterday, should not hold us back. Remember, we are bountiless, we are limitless. So if each one of us stops putting ourselves into some kind of caged box of opinions, then we can really, really evolve in life. Now, gratitude is one of the fastest way that will help each one of us in our journey. So let's turn the page and understand how will the miracle of healing start happening. So those of you who've done this series so far very beautifully would have already seen with the book or would have read the book of secrets or seen the movie Secrets on Netflix. It's a beautiful movie, which I did advise everyone to see it for 90 minutes with your family, or you could even break it down. So initial 1 week was about that. It's all about law of attraction. In that, there was so much of magic happening. Now, anything can be healed with gratitude, and I am a befitting example, so I've led by example. I've healed myself of cancer. Yes, at the moment, I've just day before got a report from my doctor that I'm even healed of thyroid, which I was going through since 2012. So now even thyroid levels have come normal, just because I believe in the power of gratitude. And when you believe in gratitude, life changes so beautifully. So let's understand what is gratitude's magical power for our body. Whoever does not have gratitude for their health and their body, even what he or she has will be taken away from him or her. So, for example, if I have, like, I can tell you what's happening right now with me. So, I was not grateful for my body, even though I was meditating, I wasn't grateful. What happened? The health suffered a bit, the weight came a bit, and I realized that my energy levels have gone down because I was not grateful enough for my body. So let's understand this is the only place we live in. And each one of us must invest in our body, in a beautiful mind to be thankful. After all, most of us are complete. We don't have any amputated limbs, right? So we are complete. Now, whichever size, color, it doesn't really matter. So let's be thankful and see it evolve very much. So, what do you do today? It's a three-step program. Every time Rhonda one will take us through 3 steps. First, we will be grateful for whatever health we've received in the past, whether your childhood, whether your adolescence, whether your adult life. So you can turn the page. Step two will be about health in the present, whatever we are receiving. Now, even if you're going through some kind of a disease or you're having some kind of a problem, still be grateful. You can't be grateful for something, be grateful for other things in your body. There's so many body parts, so many organs, and in the morning you have a fairly good idea what all we are thanking. So check anything and use 5 functions and be grateful for those. Step three, whatever we want to receive in future. For example, I really wish to be a marathon runner. I know right now it sounds like a dream come true, but one day I know I will be because mentally I'm training myself to be fit to be able to start my baby steps into running. So if I'm grateful for it now, but obviously, fast forwarding myself into the future, I would be running a marathon. And you would all be here to see because it's all about gratitude. So you're supposed to spend 1 minute in visualizing a scene of yourself with the ideal state of your body that you want. However, whether it's a runner body, whether it's a yogic body, whether it's a tone body, or whether it's whichever kinds, physically, however you want it. And then we'll restore ourselves back into the way we want. For this today, we will try and do exercise meditation on our body today because I feel guided to do that for every single body part of ours. And so you can turn the page. And if you want an ideal weight in the future, which many of us want, so that is also going to be in our 1 minute vision. So we can follow the simple practice of remembering 3 times when we have felt really great when it comes to our health. And we sincerely thank our body for that. For example, you've been at a trip where you've been able to pull something very beautifully, a lot of energy high. So people who are from the roundtable community would know that, when we have our AGMs or events, 2, 3 days we go sleepless. We're so high on energy. So thanks to our body that it supports us that time. People who know that they've been doing some kind of passion sport or something that they love, how 2, 3 days the body doesn't ask to sleep because they're so high on energy. So yes, each one of us will find those occasions we can remember them. And then today we choose 5 functions and we say thanks for them. And this we will kind of cover in our meditation also today. So let's understand this, and that's all to be done. 1 minute of visualizing and gratitude, of course, all of us are writing. So thank you, Rahul sir, and thank you, everyone. Let's now move on to Stephen Scott's book about dreams. We have been speaking about our dreams. We have been speaking about making them shoot for the stars. We have been talking about using people and resources who can really help each one of us in bettering our journey in making our dreams come true. Because if lack of resources or knowledge is there, we can better ourselves for it. So, yesterday we spoke about step number 1, where each one of us is identifying the kind of partners we wish to have in our life who can mentor us, guide us, advise us, and who can probably partner with us in our endeavors.
Now, step number 2 is on page number 143, the right hand side page. And today we start our journey about the second step. The second step is about identifying the specific individuals or companies we need to recruit. So now, anyone, whoever has whichever goal, by now you know your dreams. So please read this, keeping in mind that what are your specific individuals or organizations that you need to recruit in your dream making journey, where you make it to dream achieving journey. Once you have identified the kinds of people you need to recruit, the next step is to identify where you go to find them. Steven Spielberg identifies his need for the same kind of partners on every film. Some of these slots are filled by same individuals again and again and again, while others keep changing. For example, he has used John Williams to fill his need for a composer on a number of his biggest films. He shoots for the moon in his selection process, always aiming at the top A list and never moving down to the second person on the list until he knows the first choice is truly unavailable. So just see, he's never compromising. He knows he won the A-lister, and that's it. That's it, no compromise. So all of us should learn something that in life, we will never compromise. Why? Because we deserve the best and we always get the best. That's it. I said a simple line day before: ask, believe, and it's yours. We have to have the conviction. We have to be able to ask. We have to be able to see. When I needed to find a director for the contemporary music group I formed in college, I wanted the absolute best choral director in the state of Arizona, Ron Patty. Unfortunately, Ron was already directing 5 choral groups, employed full time, raising 3 children with his wife Carolyn, and trying to maintain his 4.0 grade point average in his effort to earn his doctorate. Ron didn't even know me. And when I told my group that I wanted him as a director, they told me I was crazy. But he was at the very top of my A list. And I didn't even want to try to identify number 2 until I was turned down by number 1. I was a sophomore in college at the time. So what happened? Just see, he did go to plan B, right? But only after being 100% sure that it can't work. So always shoot for the stars. And then if you have to come to second best, it's okay. But don't compromise initially. Like for me, I can tell you, I had been a very clear mother since last 2 years, 3 years that Muskan, my older one, will go to NID Ahmedabad. I was very clear it's a national college, come what may. And the child cracked Amravati branch and Bhopal branch, but she was very sure she doesn't want to go to those cities. So she chose mom, I want, and then let's go for Shishti. Luckily for her, the very that year only the third batch had opened up for XYZ whatever reasons. The bacha got through in a day. It's tough to crack Shishti, but she managed. So point B did come in her life, but only after the door was closed to point A. And that also she could have got through, but she chose the very best in that. So all of us can have plan Bs, should have, maybe, but always keeping yourself to the level number 1. Number 3. What is the step number 3 all of us will take? We will recruit the right individuals who we have identified as a potential partners, mentors, and so on. Now comes with what is the hardest part in this process: recruiting the individuals at the top of your A list. Notice that I say it can be the hardest step in the process. I don't say it is the hardest step. For most people, this is not only the hardest step, it is the most impossible step. It prevents them from ever igniting this most powerful engine in their Saturn V rocket. Yet, for most dream makers, it's not a difficult step at all. And I will show you some very specific techniques to make this step a lot easier a little later in this chapter. So let's understand what are we going to learn. Now, after everyone in my group told me there was no way I could ever recruit Ron Patty, I became very nervous about approaching him. And yet, he was a director I wanted. So I created a strategy that started with a phone call. Little did I know that it would become the strategy and technique that I would use throughout the rest of my life for recruiting partners and mentors. it has had a phenomenal success rate. When I placed my call to Ron, he was polite enough to hear me out before telling me of his commitments and of all the demands on his time. He didn't think there was any possible way he could take on another commitment. Then I asked if he could at least meet with us once, give us a few pointers, and rehearse us for just 1 hour. He obviously felt sorry for us. What could be more pathetic than a contemporary choral group without a director? In a moment of weakness, he agreed to give us that one rehearsal. Prior to that, we had been rehearsing 2 days a week for 4 weeks. To my amazement, he took us further in the first 10 minutes of our rehearsal. Then we had progressed in the 20 hours we had previously rehearsed. At the end of the first rehearsal, he agreed to meet us again the following week. To make a long story short, he became a director, and none of our lives has ever been the same ever. Ron not only became a director, he became one of my mentors and one of my lifelong friends. Do you see? Being persuasive is good, being sure is good, not having a plan B is good, not listening to people who are derogatory or pulling you down or saying it's impossible is good. If you have the conviction, if you have the faith, you can move mountains. So, more power to each one of us to think that we deserve the best and we get the best. Now we're talking about another dream of Stephen Scott. He wanted to be the best husband, right? Who really wanted to understand the deep emotional needs of his wife. Let's understand about this. Same old husband, brand new marriage. And believe me, this is possible. It's really beautiful. This section is very lovely. Returning to my friend who wanted a marriage where her deepest needs would be fulfilled, she identified Gary Smalley at the top of her A list as the perfect potential mentor for her marriage. Knowing she could recruit Gary to meet all her with her personally, she recruited him by reading his books and reviewing his tapes. You see, you don't necessarily have to meet with a person for them to be your mentor or partner. Reading Gary's books and viewing his tapes was in some ways even better than meeting with him because she could do them at her own pace, taking as much as she wanted. Though his books and tapes, Gary taught her how to communicate with her husband far more effectively. She learned how to communicate in a way that not only enabled him to understand what she was saying, but more importantly, actually feel what she was feeling. So Sue's husband was so moved by the changes she was making in the efforts to meet his needs that he began viewing Gary's tapes. Today, she rates her marriage as a perfect 10. Her husband not only ceased his constant criticism, which was her original dream, he has learned how to meet her deepest needs and meets them consistently. Her impossible dream became true through the dream conversion process, shooting for the moons and identifying and recruiting the right partners and mentors. Remember June Morris, my neighbor, who started her own airline. I was talking with her son Rick, and he told me the single greatest key to his mom's success was her ability to recruit the right partners and key employees. He said she was so generous in her giving of stock options to key people that other thought she was giving away was unnecessary. But you tell me who was right, who was wrong? Her critics who still have to work for a living, or June who sold a profitable new airlines at 130 million? So let's understand in our life, we will meet all kinds of people. But if we start looking at them, कि क्या advice दे रहे हैं? What is it that they're saying which can help me? Rather than having a blocked perspective. Oh, this is the way it is, and this is the way I want, and this is the way it will be. मुझसे तो होता ही नहीं. For example, if this is the perspective, I will be closed. Even if I have the right ideal person in front of me wanting to help me, I can't see him because I am closed. So again and again, I say one affirmation for all of us will be amazing, which is I am open and receptive to all things wonderful, or I am open and receptive to all abundance. The minute you add the word love into it, it becomes amplified. So that's what I keep telling everyone. Firstly, we all have learned so much that we are unable to unlearn. So for that, this one affirmation should be a go-to affirmation for each one of us in our daily assignments. Now 3 weeks mark is almost coming over. So please pick up 3 affirmations daily. Write them thrice each. I'm okay with that. But write them with integrity, with feeling. The minute you start saying this to yourself, you'll start finding a shift in your own energy. That's something I want to really request all of you. Along with your heart thought, pick up two which you really resonate with. So that's one thing. Now let's talk about the multi-million dollar lunch. So we've been talking about them after Simon and Schuster published A Millionaire's Notebook in January 96. I began receiving letters from people asking me to be their mentor and for my company to become their partner. I received nearly 1,000 such letters in less than a year. Although I was truly touched by each letter I received, there was only one that followed the strategy and techniques I gave in the book for recruiting a mentor. Without realizing that he was using my own techniques on me, I found myself instantly waiting to respond to his letter and meet its author. I called him the same day I received his letter and we scheduled a lunch. I met with him and his partner and they asked my advice regarding a buyout offer they would soon be receiving from a major bank. I told them how I would respond to the bank's offer no matter how good it appeared to be. They followed my advice. And as a result, they were offered millions of dollars more in a second offer from the same bank. I was so impressed with these two young men that months later we set up our own side business that I believe would ultimately generate a significant income for each of us. All of this grew out of their using the strategies and techniques I had listed in my first book. These tips appear at the end of this chapter. So, what should we do? We should avoid recruiting the wrong partners as if it's important for recruiting the right ones. So, now that we are on this journey of finding the right people, we should also be sure of the wrong people. ये तो out है. This is what I want. So, Stephen Scott says, I do a fair amount of public speaking, and I nearly always talk about the importance of effective partnering. At almost every event, at least one member of the audience approaches me afterwards and tells me a horror story about a partnership in which he or she was involved. Inevitably, they were devastated by the actions or inactions of the partners. One of the closest friends in life nearly lost his securities because of his illegal acts of his partner. The only thing saved him was that a board member had tape recorded a board meeting that proved my friend had no knowledge of his partner's activities. Just as nothing can accelerate your success better and faster than an effective partnership with the right people, nothing can cause a faster or more devastating failure than a partnership going wrong with the wrong people. That is why it is critical that you follow strategies and techniques at the end of this chapter as a guide to identify and recruit our partners. So, what we'll see is that one of the 7 strategies is to look at the character and integrity of your would be partner. Even though it's number 4 on the list, it's definitely the most important. If your partner's ethics and morals aren't extremely high, sooner or later there is a good probability that he or she will either betray or mislead you, someone or you or someone else in the company, or maybe your customers. So that's one thing. We can have a reality check of our partners by asking in the market about their reputation if we're unsure. Integrity is very important. If anybody is into cheating, maligning, lying, it's not going to work ever. I'm not saying once a liar, always a liar, but it's not very easy to change your attitude unless not you're going through complete transformation. That also happens, but please beware. Now he's giving us a story. The morning I received a call from one of my best friends in grade school and high school. His name is Ron Carter, and he hadn't talked in years. He had picked up my first book and was reading a chapter on partnering, and he decided to give me a call. He told me a horror story of how his former partner had cheated their business out of $250,000, causing the business to fail and Ron to lose every single thing. He told me that in spite of that failure, he still agreed with me that partnering was critical to achieving extraordinary success, and that finding the right partner and avoiding the wrong ones was equally critical. He said, if only he had thoroughly checked out his former partner's character and ethics, he would have had a great business today and a lot more money in his bank account. I asked Ron, why did he not look into the man's character before he joined up? His reply was, I was so enamored of the man and his abilities that it never bothered to check out his character. I've heard this story at least 100 times since I wrote a millionaire's notebook. When we identify a potential partner who has strengths, talents, abilities that we lack or that we admire or envy, we either fail to notice or choose to ignore any character flaws that may appear. We downplay or even defend those flaws because we desperately want to gain the benefits of that person's talents and strengths. So, every horror story I've heard about bad partners and partnerships could be avoided had the person simply investigated a would be partner's character. But character isn't the only issue that needs to be looked into. You need to know if a person is a theorist or a doer. So, there are a lot of people who talk too much, right? But they don't do much. So they talk, they are just weavers of words, and they're just not people who can get into action. बातों के धनी होते हैं, but काम के नहीं होते. So please be a little careful of these people. They have a way with words that you'll really get swayed. But keep your own integrity at place that, okay, I need to see what is this man or woman all about. Yes, the world is full of idea people and armchair generals. They may be good at maintaining the status quo, but they are the last people on earth that I would want to be partners with. It's critical that you would be a doer, and desirous of working his butt off to achieve your vision. And for that to happen, you need to know that he has genuinely caught your vision and is totally committed to it. I've had a lot of entrepreneurs complain to me that they're working 60 or 80 hours a week while their partner comes and goes at his leisure. Once again, I deal with all of these issues at the end of this chapter. So, the end of the chapter has beautiful notes which will help each one of us in this effective partnering. But until we go there, let's now reach the step number 4. The step number 4 is about effectively motivating and utilizing the official and unofficial partners you recruit. So, recruit हमने कर दिया, great. But जब तक हम थोड़ा appreciate नहीं करेंगे, थोड़ा उनको motivate नहीं करेंगे, nobody moves. So please understand, we must motivate. And remember, when we give appreciation, we also feel very good. I'm not saying lalo chapo, I'm not saying unnecessary appreciation, genuine from your heart. Now, this is the first step that people often pay the least amount of attention to, and they consequently screw up more than any other step in the process. When the step isn't performed correctly, it can by itself totally be invalidate partnering. So it can invalidate partnering, your partnership will just go because you're not using it correctly. But when used correctly, it can empower a partnership effort like nothing else. So it can be a char chand if you're really using your partnership very well. You are motivated, the person is motivated, and that's when magics happen. So for me, it's not about working so many hours effectively. For it's the right hours with the right content. So lesser number of hours with the right content can make your hour very, very fruitful. Now let's talk about the $50 million race. Imagine that you have been given the opportunity to take in a boat race. Now the winner of that race will get 50 million. All of the other contestants have conventional boats with outboard engines ranging from 50 to 80 horsepower. On the other hand, you have been given a racing boat that has an inboard of 400 horsepower turbocharged engine. You have been equipped to not only win the race, but to finish 3 or 4 times as fast as your nearest competitor. You are already beginning to envision all the things you are going to do with your new fortune. Now imagine that just before the state's race is about to start, you notice there's no key in the ignition. You hear the other boats begin to rev their punny engines. puny engines, and you see the race master wave the starting flag. All of the other boaters put the pedal to the metal, and even though they don't have the nearly the power you have or speed you have, they leave you behind dead in the water. You think about that 50 million first prize and you realize that you could win it hands down if you could only start your engine. You're desperately looking around for the key. You may be yelling, you may be cursing, you may be threatening your boat and other crew members on board, but you're still dead in the water. Finally, you realize you're not going to find the key and get the engine started. So you put paddles into the hands of all your crew and you just start paddling as fast as you can. Now, as ridiculous as the story is, it illustrates reality for many adults and countless corporations. So please remember one thing: when we are faced with adversity, that is when the challenge really comes. In a win-win situation in life, when everything is hunky-dory, tab to achhe banna is very easy. Being at the best of behavior is very easy. But the real reality strikes when we have a challenge. So how are we adept at understanding the challenge? So many successfully identify and recruit the right partners, the key employees, and so on. But they never learn how to effectively utilize and motivate their partners. They never find the key. So all the potential power that could be generated remains dormant and untapped. How tragic and what a waste. You could literally assemble the strongest, most talented group of people in America, make them your partners, and still have total failure. On the other hand, if you can find the key to effectively utilizing and motivating those with whom you partner, you can accomplish things that will dwarf the achievements of those who have far more talent and infinitely greater ability. The effective utilization of talent, commitment, and motivation is hard to believe. The effective utilization of talent, commitment, and motivation is 99% of the battle. So if you find this hard to believe, how do you think the ragtag rebels of Afghanistan were able to frustrate the defeat the vastly superior Russian army and air force? How would Henry Ford begin a company in his garage that would soon become multi-million dollar company, which is in business for decades? How could our little company, American Telecast, defeat the marketplace companies 100 times our size when you don't have a single MBA and virtually no significant experience amongst 6 or 7 original partners? And yet, for several years, we were more productive by Forbes' definition of productivity than any public corporation in America. The answer to all these questions is found in 3 words: utilization, commitment, and motivation. So there's one principle which today we will conclude and understand the gist. Great partners plus ineffective utilization is used to unrealized potential and ultimate failure. Now, if I were to write this sentence, I would write the sentence as great partners plus effective utilization is used to realize potential and ultimate success. So I don't even talk about the negativity because there is negativity. It's not like there is not. But why do you have to see it to expand it? Expand your own horizons, expand your own potential, expand your own success ratio, utilize your own beautiful virtues that you have. And now, when we have some ideas, let's make the best versions, our dreams come true. We are manifesting great. We are surrendering absolutely brilliant. Techniques have to be learned by us, and partnership is important. So let's understand, and our partners can be, our anybody. So, for example, I'll give you just before we closing this chapter. So we are done with this chapter. We will read tomorrow, beginning from a friend of mine. An example. So we can partner with our spouses for becoming better people and tell each other we will not complain. We will not complain to each other. Rahul sir, we can take the book off. So we each one of us can partner with our spouses and tell them, let's not complain to each other about who we are. Let's start by practicing Rhonda Byrne's no complaint exercise. When we don't complain to each other and we only appreciate each other's goods and bads, goods and goods, then what happens? All of a sudden there's a shift. So I'm going to use a couple's example, and the first one I see on my screen is Kunal and Priyanka. So if Priyanka is used to complaining to Kunal about something of his habit. Per se, you keep the socks here when you come. Why can't you put them in the laundry basket? And she stopped saying that for 5 days. Automatically, Kunal's like, oh, my socks are here on the floor. I better put them in the bin. He'll find that shift because ek to hota hai, "Arey, roz bolti hai," let us say. Ek hota hai, all of a sudden he finds the shift on his own. So let's all understand that we are in this journey to complement and appreciate each other. So all of us who are singles here, more power to us for not complaining to other people, even though they're not in this journey. The shift will happen when you shift your energy. So start seeing the good things in people and start seeing your own virtues. And ultimately, when whatever you see is what you'll get. That's the $1,000,000 thing of law of attraction. So now let's go on to our incredibly believable book and see what the book is bringing for all of us. So we have been reading about what's coming our way in the future life. We even talked about how children are being brought up and how are we going to go about it. Now there's one thing we want to talk about. Yes, Surya Namaskar, please. So let's all of us do that. So people who can't do the Surya Namaskar normally, you have that Pratima ji, Kuldeep ji, you have this Jai Surya Namaskar video in the picture with you. Just follow those steps. Don't get off the floor. Just do it on the chair. Whoever. I mean, I'm not just naming anyone, anyone and everyone.
The Surya Namaskar with mantras. Om Mitraye Namaha. Om Ravaye Namaha. Om Suryaye Namaha. Om Bhanave Namaha. Om Khagaye Namaha. Om Pushne Namaha. Om Hiranyagarbhaye Namaha. Om Marichaye Namaha. Om Adityaye Namaha. Om Savitre Namaha. Om Arkaye Namaha. Om Bhaskaraye Namaha. Salutations to the universal friend. Salutations to the resplendent sun. Salutations to the energy that induces activity within us. Salutations to the one who illumines. Salutations to the sun moving across the sky. Salutations to the giver of strength. Salutations to the golden cosmic self. Salutations to the Lord of the dawn. Salutations to the son of Aditi, the cosmic mother. Salutations to the benevolent mother. Salutations to the energy that we praise and to the one who guides us to salvation. The sun salutation now with the names of the postures both in Sanskrit and English. Pranamasan, Hastuthanasan, Padhastasan, left leg back, Ashvasanchalanasan, Parvatasan, and hold this position. And now slowly progressing into the deeper version of Parvatasan, Adho Mukh Shvanasan. Ashtang Namaskar. Bhujangasan. Parvatasan. Left forward, Ashvasanchalanasan. Padahastasan. Hastuthanasan. Pranamasan. On the right side, prayer position, raised arms pose, hand to feet pose, right leg back, equestrian pose, mountain pose, hold mountain pose, and slowly moving into the deeper version of mountain, the downward facing dog. Salute with 8 limbs. Cobra. Press back to mountain. Right forward, equestrian pose. Hand to feet pose. Raised arms position. prayer pose. One round of the sun salutation with awareness on the breathing. So exhaling our hands to the chest, pranam. Inhaling as we bend back. We exhale as we fold forward. Left leg back, inhale as we're arching back. Exhale into the forward. Hold the breath for knees, chest, chin. Inhale as we arch back. Exhale into the forward. Left leg forward, inhale. This is a back bend. Exhale whenever we bend forward. Inhale as we bend back. Exhale, hands to the chest. And on the right, deep breathing.
So thank you, sir. Now let's bring the beautiful book in front of all of us. Incredibly believable. So yesterday we stopped at the point where we were going to talk about the indigo and the crystal children. Now, who are these? We spoke about that someone needs to have a rebellion. Someone needs to bring it to light how the new life is happening around us. And who are these people? So here we are on page number 122. We need a rebellion. Why do we need a rebellion? So why do we need it is very understandable, and we'll read about it. Our system that we have in place today is non-functional. Our education system, our political system, our economic system, our financial system, our healthcare system, our military system, our industrial system, our transportation system, banking system, legal system, or energy generation system, etc., etc., etc. All they need is a total revamp. They need to be broken down, totally dismantled, and new functional systems need to be built from the ground up. The first task is a breaking down and dismantling of the current systems. If each generation follows the traditions, the current system continues in perpetuity. So now entering the rebels, which are the indigo children. So for all of us who are born for anything around 1978, this is for you. A new breed of children has been coming to Earth, mainly from the year 1978 onwards. Although we have some older indigos even in 60s. They're called indigo because to the clairvoyant, the auras appear indigo in color. These children are the rebels that we need. Their DNA is more activated than that of the common children. As a result, their thinking and their behavior is significantly different from that of the common children. As a result of the activated DNA, they tend to get sick easily. They are disease resistant. Their bodies react to pharmaceutical drugs in a very negative way. They refuse to accept anything simply because it is traditional. They refuse to believe anything simple because it has been told by an authority figure, example, a parent, a teacher, a priest, a doctor, etc. Everything has to make good rational sense to them before they accept it. So what are the main characteristics of indigos? Now, the biggest difference between an indigo and a non-indigo child is their view of life. The non-indigo assumes that the main thing in life is to conform to society, take responsibility, be successful according to the commonly accepted principles, and uphold the value system of society. That's it. The indigos believe that the main purpose of the life is to be happy. Every action of the indigo is judged by the standards of happiness as defined by the self, not necessarily by society in general. So I don't know how many of you agree with this, who are 78 born and above, that are you like this? But ballpark, you will be like this. What if Tommy were an indigo? So we talked about Tommy yesterday, how he was learning at every single stage, something or the other, right? Even the infant indigo Tommy would not learn that falling is painful. He would just find that his mother's actions are amusing. As a preschool child, Tommy would do whatever he wants to do. No amount of potential punishment would get him to change his thinking. Only a meaningful reward would make him adopt a new behavior. So in school, Tommy would probably study uninteresting subjects such as arithmetic and history. But if it were explained to him why that was a necessary part of the curriculum, it will work better.
But if it did not make any sense to him, he would not care how poorly he performs in school. He would know how smart he is, and he would not need to prove it to the others by getting good grades. He would somehow find ways to attend some dance classes anyways. The Indigo Tommy would refuse to go to the university at all unless he were allowed to study dance too. In case his father forced him to go, he might join the university, but he would only study the things that he wanted to study. A couple of years in the university, and the Indigo Tommy would make a deal with the manager of the dance company. He would do all kinds of chores for the dance company to exchange for being allowed to participate as a dancer. Now, when the dance company would have to go on a tour, Tommy would drop out of the university. But Tommy is happy. The Indigo Tommy knows that the purpose of life is to be happy. If it takes dropping out of university to dance and be happy, so be it. Should Tommy decide to complete the university, graduate, and get a job, he would not last long in the job. The Indigo Tommy sees no need to create so much of stress for himself that he gets sick. Tommy knows that the purpose of life is to be happy. He has no problem giving up the regular paycheck in order to be happy. But his father would throw a fit if it were to find out that Tommy has quit the job. The parents of Indigo children try to make them conform and act like normal children, but with no success at all. If the Indigo children act like normal children, then they would become conformists, and the entire purpose of their coming to help mankind at this juncture would be lost. The indigos are multidimensional humans and sometimes have a hard time dealing with normal people whose entire existence is in the third dimension. Although they're not consciously aware of it, the indigos often get information from other dimensions. Happy to say I'm 78 born. I'm a complete indigo. Now, as such, they're normally viewed as very smart. Because they are so smart, they need a lot of activity to keep their mind busy. In the absence of sufficient activities, they are easily bored. And when they're bored, they look for different things or activities to occupy their mind. Hence, their mind wanders from one place to another. This often leads to a diagnosis of ADD, attention deficit disorder, or ADHD, attention deficit hyperactive disorder. Unfortunately, they're often drugged and put on medication that their physical bodies cannot handle well due to the activated DNA. That's the reason why people say that, do I have 48 hours in a day? Because I am moving from one thing to another, to another, to another. And I do not believe in doctors. I don't even go to them because they will just think she's lost it. So now when I read this book, I realized, oh, I'm an indigo, so it's okay. The indigos have arrived. Now that the earlier indigos have grown up and are starting to come into the workforce, they're having an impact on society. Just like they questioned their parents and teachers earlier, they're now questioning the bosses and starting to break down the antiquated structures that have been in existence. The demolition work has begun and the pace continues to increase. Now, within the next 2 decades, all our antiquated systems will be demolished. And what do? Harbingers of the new age of crystal children. Now, ever since the year 2000, as early as 98, a new breed of children have started coming, and they're called crystal children. Since they have a special connection to crystals, and the aura shows multiple colors. The crystal children are pure love. They have come now to show us how things will be done once we get to the new world in the fourth dimension. And everyone's operating from unconditional love. The children are so pure that they can't stand any kind of violence at all. So I don't know how many of you have children in this age group. My daughter was born 2002 and the other one 2007. And these girls can't accept racism, sexism, any discrimination, and they give us words like I don't know what all, because they are really operating from unconditional love. There is oneness in their world. There's nothing called a barrier. That is why they're so beautiful. If a 2-year-old crystal child is watching cartoons on TV and one cartoon character hits another, hitting is a form of violence. The crystal child cannot bear it and leaves the room on his own or changes the channel by saying that the bad TV is on. Now, if a 5-year-old is in class, the teacher shouts in a form of verbal violence at another student in class, the crystal child can't take it anymore. He leaves the classroom and hides somewhere outside. Now, with this level of non-violence and love, these crystal children, when they grow up and enter the workforce, they will build new structures. Once the old antiquated structures have already been demolished with the help of the indigo children. So it's very great, Ankur, that your child is emotional, because that's beautiful. We think it is weakness, but that's amazing. Neha, glad your children are like that. Kamakshi, glad your child is like that. And great, Anita, even your child is. Even Meenakshi, amazing. Why do they say so? Because it's nice to have an emotional child. People think in India, the conditioning, weak hai. No, they're very, very, very strong. Let's turn the page, sir. Now, what do these children do? These children, they can never hurt anybody. These children are born with unconditional love. These children have an uncanny attraction to crystals. When you tell them about crystals and names of crystals, crystal children remember these forever. When these children help us bring and build new systems, all the systems have to be run on the principle of unconditional love. Welcome to the new world starting in 2029. So 8 years from now, we're entering the new world because these crystal children will be taking up jobs, will be, establishing new businesses, new structures, and welcome to this world. And imagine these crystal children were to become politicians, leaders. How wonderful our world will become. Wipe out all the seniors, just have few indigos and just have crystals, and Earth will see a shift. Housing in the new world. Now we're in chapter number 9. This is something which all of us should understand. And this is something which is important. So again, some of you will feel that Prachi is advocating some teaching, but this is absolute opposite. So try and put 2 and 2 together and see what is being taught. Decent and good housing is a necessity for mankind. All of us know, right? In the current world, just like in everything else, there is a great polarity in housing. 2 persons may be living in a big mansion with 10 rooms, whereas at least 8 of the rooms are generally unused. Whereas another family of 10 may be living in 1 or 2 room hutment. The polarity will disappear in the new world. Voila. Housing is definitely still considered a necessity, but only for a comfortable living, not for showing off to others that you are better off than they are. In fact, the whole concept of competitive thinking will no longer exist in the new world. So how will the living be? So rural and urban living, what is to be chosen? So if we look at today's environment, a majority of the people who reside in big cities are there only because their jobs are there. If they had a choice of living in a much better environment or the countryside with the same facilities available as in cities, a number of them would prefer to move out. Really, big cities will gradually die out or turn into much smaller cities as more and more people prefer to move to new towns, properly planned, well connected by the ubiquitous transportation system and offering work opportunities similar to those in the big cities. So now there'll be nothing called villages, there'll be called rural areas. Everything will become so beautifully planned, systematic, beautiful. In fact, cities, the cultures, crores and crores of people in cities will start to diminish because we were told that offices and workplace will also shift. Instead of having proper 4x4, whatever big corporates, you will be working from your home. We spoke about architects from home. We spoke about teachers from home, right? So everyone will not only have a choice of where to live, but also be able to move from one place to another whenever they desire, because housing and jobs will both be available readily. So you will never have to hunt. Everywhere job is there, everywhere house is there. Move from this place to another, settle, enjoy yourself, do whatever. Those preferring to live close to nature, such as the ones that choose to work with plants or agriculture, may live in a rural setting. Others may choose more of an urban setting. In the planned urban setting, all the facilities will be available within walking distance. One can walk to nice cafes, restaurants, theaters, and shopping centers. So I don't know how many of you know, overseas in America and stuff, they do have a colony, a defined area for schools. You have to be in that area to put your child in that school. You can't choose a school which is like 10 kilometers, 20 kilometers away, because it's not allowed. Because there's no disparity that this is better, that is better, kuch bhi nahi hai. That's going to come everywhere in this new world. The only thing missing will be competitive sports or entertainment that is violent based. So all these WWF, they will all go. Even chesses will go. Anything that makes the opponent feel bad will go. People may want to run a marathon, but the person coming first or last are both considered victorious, because they have both completed the marathon of 10, 20, 30 kilometers, whatever. So nobody, it's not about timeline, it's about who's done it. And if somebody's done it, amazing. The real victory is that each person performed to the best of his or her ability. Now, take boxing, for example. The total effort is made to beat your opponent and prove that you are better than him. In the new world, far from thinking it of a sport, people will not even think of beating up another person under any circumstances whatsoever. Normally, नहीं करोगे यार, तो competition में तो impossible. In the new world, competition is replaced by cooperation in all areas of life. So how big a house do I need? Now that's something everyone wants to have, a huge house right now. Oh, with all the works, swimming pools, gyms, the massage rooms, blah, 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 blah. Now, what's going to happen? Since housing is being looked at as a necessity and a utilitarian thing, people will only want a house or an apartment that can comfortably accommodate the number of persons in the family, allowing for one room per person and some common areas such as dining and living rooms. If the family grows, it will be easy to move to a bigger place. Similarly, if the kids leave and the family is shrinking, people may choose to move to a smaller place. Now this is something to be read. Having a big house will be considered a waste of resources, and nobody will want to appear wasteful. Abhi people want to appear, luxurious, this, that, show offism. Baad mein ulta ho jayega. If you have a big house, you're showing off, and that nobody wants to be like that. So how wonderful. Yes, I absolutely, Meenakshi, kids won't feel down, low, nothing. It will be disease free also, Kamakshi. Yes, it will be, because when you're so beautiful in your mind, it will be disease free. So having a big house will be considered a waste of resources, and nobody will want to appear wasteful. Instead of people admiring those big houses like we currently do, others will look down on people with bigger houses than they need. Taking for yourself more than is necessary will be considered greed. So greedy people will be out. In the new world, no one wants to appear greedy. So there'll be no shortage of housing. Why? How? What will happen? The planning. The planning, which will be under continuous review and always available to everyone to review, will allow for more houses than people. Imagine उसी एक बिल्डिंग में जहां पर 10 रूम खाली हैं, 2 जने रह रहे हैं, उसकी जगह पे 10 अपार्टमेंट आ जाते हैं. 10 apartment, दो लोग रहते हैं. So there are 2 people, the same area will be used by 20 people, right? In the new world. The moment the inventory of vacant houses reduces below a threshold level, more housing will be constructed well in advance of running out of vacant space. So before you can think of, new places will be made. Now the question is, what if I can't afford to buy the house I need? The answer is beautiful. This will never arise in the new world. All housing will be owned by the community, and every person will be a renter. The community will also provide maintenance, and every place will also always be very well maintained. Everyone will always be provided enough resources or money to be able to afford the rent and all other necessary living expenses. So there will never be a question or not of having enough money for rent. So I don't know how many of you are familiar overseas, like for example, I was in Belgium in a very small little village there. And my friends, they're a teacher couple, very well to do, beautiful house, everything. But they've already rented a place for their future in a community where all the games and everything is there. It's an old age community, and they will be living there the minute they retire. So this house they will sell off, not give it to any of their sons, divide the money between two of them. There's nothing called ancestral stuff, and they'll shift in the community where they will only be renting out. So they're paying for the rent now only. 10 years when I went, they'd already paid in 2017. They paid 10 years also for 10, 15 years plus of their life. So this will be there. You don't have to own something, but China has the same lifestyle. Absolutely, Meenakshi does. So they're already in a progressive futurist world. In India, we haven't developed such, but ab shuru ho gaye aane. If you see the Ashiana, old age homes and stuff are coming up now gradually. So this is about old age, but this world will be for the young and the middle age as well. It will not be just for old. Now the most of the houses will have most of the heavy furniture provided will be there. This makes it easy from moving from one place to another. Besides, nobody wants to lug heavy piece of furniture around. People look at furniture as another utilitarian thing. It needs to be comfortable and they're not attached to it. It's like the furniture in a hotel room. You want nice furniture, but you don't care when you have to move to another hotel. You know, you will have different furniture there. So relate this to your ancestors. जब वो बोलते थे कि टीक का फर्नीचर बनाया है, लकड़ी सुखाई है, सीजन करी है, और ये 50 साल से बेड या ये सोफा पड़ा हुआ है. They're so attached to it. Look at now, Urban Ladder, this, that, so many things have come up. You can just buy furniture, use for some long, they're cost effective, they look great, and they're so light, you just move them around. So this world has already begun to come. People are more interested in interacting with other people than they are in correcting material things and getting tied to them. So emotional tie-up will be much less because you're lighter in your mind. On the surface, this may sound a lot like old Soviet communist system, but it is not. In the communist system, we had no control on where we were going to live or for how long. The house was usually inadequate and not well maintained. There was no freedom. But in the new world, you will have the total choice about where you live, how long you live, and where and when you want to move. The place will always be well maintained, and you will never be short of rent money. Total freedom. Now let's read about smart houses with smart appliances. So every house comes with all the facilities. It's equipped with all smart appliances. When you realize you need some groceries, all you have to do is touch a screen on the kitchen counter, place your order for the groceries, and specify what time your order needs to be delivered. The system already remembers what brand names you're using and what size packages you prefer. So ordering is going to be very, very easy. So can you turn the page, please? The order is automatically sent to the store. At the specified time, your groceries are delivered right to your house using the delivery system. We talked about those systems, the things within the house. It's already happening. We discussed that also. So through that, everything will come. And your account is automatically charged for the order. So you will never have to pay the bill. It's all automatic. Let us presume you like to have a morning cup of coffee when you wake up. The coffee maker is programmed to brew a fresh cup at the right time, set the alarm off to wake you and have your perfect cup of coffee ready with the right amount of sugar or milk in it. Now, I think all of you will be wondering, Are, wow, how amazing fantasy. Yes, King's Court is an example of luxury, but here it's not luxury community. Here it will be beautiful, warm, full community. Roof was started the same, absolutely. Now, real estate or unreal estate. Well, how is it that service and convenience will happen? In the current world, we place great importance in owning land, property. Based on the fact that land will always exist, we call it real estate. But what is so real about it? There are 1,000 ways you can lose it. It does not matter how you lose it. Once you lose it, it turns out to be unreal. In the new world, people realize that all is unreal estate and they do not waste their time with it. So, thank you, Rahul, sir, for showcasing this book. So, what is happening? Roti, kapda, makan is the three things we've heard since a man needs to provide that for his family. Then makan will already be given. Roti, kapda will already be given. What are we so scared about? When our future is so beautiful and certain, why are we angling in a world of competition? Yes, make your dreams big. Fulfill your dreams. Live the life you want. Travel as much. Invest in yourself. Learn new sciences. But what is a big deal about, you know, creating this, amassing this kind of wealth? You want to do it? Please go ahead and do it. I will not say no. But just see what the world is all about. What is coming our way? Some people here will say, "अरे बहुत अच्छा लगता है पढ़ने में." असलियत नहीं है. But again, रोज हम कुछ ना कुछ पढ़ते हैं जो already exist कर रहा है. So kuch to isme hoga, right? And I again and again say, yesterday when Kamakshi sent the picture that, okay, this book is for $97,000 on Amazon. Why? Because it's so beautiful, it's so pure that very few of us can get even access to it. So that is why these books are rarity, and we're very blessed to be reading them on a cohesive group where all of us are in coherence, our heart and our head. So anybody wants to read this beautiful affirmation, it's all about change. And remember, today we're reading about change every single day. So yes, Priyanka, I'll just read the left bit and then you can take on the right. So let me introduce this chapter of change. In order to change your life outside, you must change inside. The moment you're willing to change, it is amazing how the universe begins to help you. It brings you what you need. So elaborating on that, all of you kind of wanted a change. So you brought these sessions in your life. I wanted a change, so I brought these sessions in my life. It's all about the change. So today's affirmation is beautiful. The heart thought is, all my changes are easy to make. And yes, please read, Priyanka. Oh, sorry, you have to unmute yourself, my dear. We can't hear you. Can everyone hear her? No. Please try again. No, no, sweetheart. It's mute. There's something with your laptop connection, I guess. So let's try that tomorrow. Is that okay? And today, meanwhile, Akshay can read for us.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Yes, please.
All
Manish,
my
tomorrow,
changes,
1 second. Manish, tomorrow, please raise your hand. You can read tomorrow, and day after, Priyanka can read. Thank you. Yes.
all my changes are easy to make. When we begin to work on ourselves, sometimes things get worse before they get better. It is okay if that happens. It is the beginning of the process. It's untangling old threads. Just flow with it. It takes time and effort to learn what we need to learn. Don't demand instant change. Impatience is only resistance to learning. It means you want the goal without going through the process. Let yourself do it step by step. It will get easier as you go along.
So very important for us to understand. Thank you, Akshay, for reading so beautifully. So we must trust the process of life. We must go with it. We must understand it, and we must do it step by step. There's no reason for us to take it very, very, very fast. So now it's time for all of us to meditate. So Rahul, so we can have the gallery view on, please. And let's all meditate. Shivani, you're the co-host, so you can record the meditation as well. Let's all close our eyes. Check our postures. Our back straight. Our feet firmly placed on the ground without chappals or shoes or cross-legged. Our hands in a comfortable resting position on our laps. In a Dhyan Mudra, wherein the thumb and the first finger are touching. Or the Buddha pose, where they're overlapping each other and facing heavenwards. Or simply resting on your laps the way you're comfortable. A soft smile on your face. And let's inhale love. Take a deep breath in, fill your tummies with love. Feel the love entering your body as you're inhaling. And this love is pulsating in every cell of your being. Gently exhale love and share it with the world. The second time for this morning, inhale light. You are well lit, bright from inside. You're able to see your life clearly. And as you exhale, you're able to see the world more clearly. All the dark clouds have made way for light. The third time for this morning, take a deep breath in and fill yourselves with change. Embrace the change. Let's say we are open and receptive to all the possible changes, bettering the world. And as you exhale this feeling, you are going to be the change maker. And so it is. Life is magical. Life is miraculous. Life is a beautiful journey. Let's embrace today morning with health in miracles, magic and miracles in health. Let's thank our beautiful bodies for whatever it's been given with. We're endowed with so many organs, so much of love, so much of light. Each one of us is now increasing our gratitude's magical power and finding a beautiful flow in our body, in our life. Gone are the days when anything negative emotion used to come up. Now they're reducing in the frequency much more every single day. When negativity comes, we know that this too shall pass. Each one of us is a believer, believer in life, believer in magic, believer in miracles, and today a believer in this beautiful body which is absolutely radiating with the best of health. We are grateful for everything that we have ever had in our life. Let's think of those three beautiful things, the three times when we were very, very, very happy with something that we've done in our life before. These three times could be your infant time when you were running around in a school, maybe in the colony, maybe in the top of your health. Think about it. Feel as grateful for the little boy or the little girl running around, prancing, being on top of the energy, shouting, squealing in happiness, giggling. How healthy, how beautiful. Even if the little boy or the girl, that's us, had fallen down, we still again squealed and got up, shrugged ourselves all the dirt and the grime, and again ran. How magical. Think of the time that you were in school, having some event day after day. How energetic, how vibrating that entire atmosphere was. Your frequency was so high. How wonderful that you did one thing back to back. So thank you, dear body, for the beautiful energy. Think of the time that you've graduated. You could be in a college, you could be in an organization, you could have something that you love, some event again. How you're flowing from one to another. Sleep evades you because you're so excited, and your body is supporting you, and you're absolutely vibrating in the top of your health. How wonderful. Dearest body, thank you for these beautiful three moments that I've just lived briefly. Thank you for this health. Thank you for this wealth. I truly live in this body, and I think this is where I should really pay regard to. So thank you for my health in the past. In the present, I am so grateful for how I am. I could be struggling from some disease. I could be struggling from some mental unhappiness. But I also have my beautiful body to thank. My wonderful eyes that read, that see, to see the magic of the world. My ears that hear so beautifully. My mouth that opens to chew food or to speak something. My nose that smells and senses something good. My arms that run so well. Truly, they are my left and right, always helping me in so many chores throughout the day. And the legs that I walk on, they help me dance, they help me trot, they help me walk, they help me jump, they help me climb. So grateful for the main body parts. And well, my gut area is functioning beautifully. My heart is beating so beautifully. Who am I to complain? Let me now shift my focus in counting my blessings for my body, and then whatever disease I may have will soon vanish. Now, let's take a minute and visualize our future. See the best weight that you want to be at, how you're looking at that body weight. See the glow on your face. See the color of your hair, how you want them to be. See the sweat, the glow on your face, which means you have a healthy body. See yourself surrounded with people you love and they love you. See yourself doing something that you've always wanted to do and you're doing it right now. See how people are loving you and appreciating you. See how people are complimenting you that you don't even look your age. See it, feel it, hear it. See yourself enjoying life as never before because you are limitless. You are absolutely magical. See that your glasses have dropped if you have glasses because your eyesight has improved. Now that you are love and light, obviously you can see it so clearly. The glasses were a mere filter, which was conditioned in your brain through doctors and family. Now there are no more glasses. If you had less of hair, now see the hair grow. People say people lose hair as they grow, but your enhancing belief is that hair becomes even more beautiful. People say dark circles, freckles, and age shows up on face. But you say when I'm living beautifully, my face just doesn't show age. And so it is. Whatever people say is what people say. But whatever we do is what we believe. Let's each one of us create an enhancing belief about ourselves, about our life. Let the natural forces within us be our true healers for life, says Hippocrates and says us. Let there be love, let there be light. And let's bow our heads in gratitude towards Mother Earth. Dear Mother Earth, Janani Janma Bhumi Dharti Ma, as I'm seated on you, my feet are firmly grounded, or through my crossed legs, knees, I am rooted with you, I'm grounded. Always make me so humble, so grounded, so full of love, and so full of light. May I be the channel for blessings for someone today and always. Thank you, Dharti Ma. Thank you for nurturing us all with love and light. Let's look at our eye level, eyes still closed, and thank our wonderful life and lives you've lived. Dearest beautiful body, you have been used as a vehicle, have reincarnated at so many levels, and now each one of you is evolving. So thank you for all the experiences you have brought in our life. And now in the present life, I'm so grateful that I'm evolving and trying to go on a soulful journey. The future, you are so bright. You're shining bright. Right now, right here, I can see you share your luminosity. So thank you for radiating such wellness and health. Truly grateful. And now it's time to spread our hands for the universe above. Stretch them. Let's hug the universe, tilt our heads a bit up. Dear universe, thank you for having our backs. Dear divinity, thank you for blessing us with choicest of blessings. Dear cosmos, thank you for including us in a Leela. Dear angels, thank you for guiding us. Dear guardians, thank you for keeping us safe. We trust the process of life. We believe in your universe. We believe whatever we're radiating in our frequency, in our vibration, is coming to us so beautifully. Each one of us is evolving, transforming, and retaking life in the next level. Let's now close our hands, fold our hands in a minute of gratitude. Everything from heavens to earth. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Symbolically, expand your hands at the heart level, facing heavenwards. I am love. I am light. I am bliss. I am change. I am open. I am receptive. I am a person who believes. I am a person who achieves. I am a dream converter and I believe in the power of dreams. So it is. Let's fold our hands once more, rub our hands together, feel the energy flow. Now, today, bless your head for thinking, for unlearning, for learning, for transforming, for being there, always open and receptive. Dearest brain, the conscious subconscious part, thank you for being my ally in this beautiful transformation journey. Now bless your eyes, ears, nose, mouth. Bless your neck, your food pipe. It takes some spiritual and cellular energy inside your body. Your shoulders, arms, upper to lower, inner to outer. Your life. Thank every part of your body, your backside, your front side. Fold your hands again. Dearest, magical, beautiful body. Today I saw that I have seen you being so healthy, so wealthy, so radiating with love and light. Thank you for the beautiful experiences I witnessed today in my meditation. Thank you to my present for being so beautiful, for giving me a beautiful window of hope for my future, and for radiating right now in the best way it can, detoxing itself from all negativity, from all thoughts, from all diseases. And thank you, dear future. My body is absolutely magical because I believe that the trillions of cells in my body, the 100,000 kilometers of blood circulation system, the muscles, tissues, fibers, glands, bones, and skin that make me are absolutely working on their magical, optimal best. So, dearest body, I once again request you that I, the soul, have taken on you for my soulful journey. And if there are any negative emotions, please detox yourself. If there's anything negative brewing up for the dis-ease, please become easy because I am easy with life. And there is energy that flows in me, the chi, the ki, or the pran, whatever I may call it. Please, I invoke you to bless my loved ones, my Sangha, in their journey, in their life, with lots of love, lots of light, lots of abundance with wishes for each one of us on this fantastic Friday. So lots of love to you, Ruchi, Supriya, Alona, Manish, Kamakshi, Rajiv ji, Gyan ji, Usha ji, Akshay, Jigisha, Peena, Kunal, Priyanka, Pratima ji, Shivani, Neha, Sunakshi, Shalu, Jitendra ji, Manisha, Amit, Neha, Jayashri ji, Minakshi, Arya, Kuldeep Singh ji, Ruchi, Shami, Ankur, Shelly, Anita, Kunjan ji, Vijay ji, Surinder ji, Swati, Niriksha, Richa, and most definitely Rahul sir, and definitely Amrita. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so I want to address you all for like a minute. And if anybody has any sharings, you can, like yesterday, I think one of you couldn't share. So you can share today if you wish, Manish. Just that yesterday night, hopefully your groups have been made. Hopefully your catalysts and boosters have come up with something cute as a logo. I've been seeing them and it's been beautiful. So now it's your turn. So two of them are there with you. They are seasoned. They've been in the transformation journey of 1 or 2. And now 3 of you have added on in that group of 5, right? Some of you have 6, but most of you have 5. I haven't included a few of you who are right now not open and receptive. So we'll see where we are. If you want to be included later in the journey, just drop me a message and we'll add you in the new groups. So that's something. One of you needs to volunteer to become an angel, which means you will be doing the group score. It's a Google form that you fill every day. Similar to that, you'll be filling every day, which means you as an angel will be looking after that your group has posted the affirmations on your subgroup. It's like accountability, check, check, check. Sirf bolna is not enough. See it. And then just post that, all of you have done it. Similarly, the guardian, one of you needs to become a guardian. So you are going to be identified with gratitude. Has your group member shared the gratitude? And you're going to become a family very soon. So all of you will be really, really, really in this journey, and you'll have peers to help you out. So I wish you a lot of power, and I wish you a lot of love and strength. So yes, Manish, what do you want to share your light? Please share.
These books are so powerful that they are forcing me to think. Yesterday, we read about that Indigo boy who was not interested in learning maths and science, and he was wanted to learn dance at a very young age. Exactly, and he was in standard 5. Now the exactly same thing happened day before yesterday in my house. My son is in standard 5, and he told me that he doesn't like to study maths and science, and he is very interested in drawing and painting. And I tell you, he is very good at it. Now it is forcing me to think that now he's a crystal, so he's a 2010 born. So what to do? Day before yesterday, before this chapter, my response was same. I tried to convince him. See, he sometimes says, I want to become a scientist. So I told him, see, if you don't learn maths and science, it will not be possible for you to become a scientist, because they are the basics. And at least for next 5 years, you study these things. It is very important for life and all those things which I have got from my parents and whatever I have gathered. But after going through the chapter yesterday, I'm thinking that what should I do? He is,
Manish, I'll give you one example, a story. Thank you for sharing your light. And I'm so glad that, you are becoming open and receptive, and you are looking at your children with a different light. So that's big colors up for me. Now, I want to give you an example of one of my dad's best friends, Choddy buddies they call. So we were 3 sisters, and there are 3 sons. So uncle has 3 sons. Now, the first and the third were typically business-minded, Banya families, yevu. The second one, 79 January born, he said, I don't want to be in business. And he's very happily, he's gay. So we are very proud of it. No problems at all. And he said he wants to be a fashion designer. Now, dad and uncle spoke, and they were like, 3 bete hain yaar, agar ek nahi bhi gaya, support kar lenge, itna paisa to hai, let him do what he wants. Guess who is he today? Today he is the Gaurav Gupta, the fashionista in the country and globally. Because his dad allowed him to do what he wanted to do. He got through National College, he got through NIFT, he was in Bombay, he got so many scholarships. So if your son wants to be an artist, there are Picassos. They haven't just come up like this. There are Rembrandts. We have our own beautiful, artists, so many of us in our country. You look at Hussein's paintings, 1 crore for one little tiny horse. So let him do it, Manish. And believe me, he's a crystal child. They know how to shine bright. You see how crystals shine now, from every facet they're shining. Let him learn. And he's about unconditional love. You give that unconditional love to him. Say, jo karna hai kar, your father has your back. Itna hi bol do na, bacha rocket lag jayenge uske. Let's start believing in our children. And let's not have that ki boy hai to usko karna hi padega, girl hai to karna padega. It's a new journey. Men and women are going to be equal partners. And that, that system will shake, where a man has to earn or a woman has to earn. Nahi. It's going to be so beautiful. So welcome to this world. It's a beautiful world. And thank you for changing your thoughts. Today you're wearing my favorite color, and I wish you a lot of power, this sunny power. So yes, you want to say something? Please, yes.
Now, see the irony. Yesterday in Times of India, I read an article about a flute player. He made a Guinness record of 108 hours.
Wow.
And today is forced to become a carpenter for a living. Now,
Manish, he did not believe in the law of attraction. उसको ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन सीरीज में आना चाहिए था, वो कुछ भी कर लेता. You know, law of attraction is very important. Teach that to your child. Teach that to yourself. If you only think about your son's best future, only the best will come. But जहां आपके मन में doubt आ गया, बेचारा अगर future में नहीं कर पाएगा तो कैसे करेगा? They all manage. But अगर हम we think of being poor or we think of being sick, वो होगा ही होगा. दिमाग में आ गया ना, वो seed आ गया doubt का, तो doubt पूरा होगा ही होगा. So let's think good for ourselves and our children. तभी अच्छा होने वाला. Let's trust the process of life and let's flow. बहुत हो गया ना, typical scientists, typical architects, typical everything. Let them make their own profession.
बहुत हो गया.
बहुत हो गया. Look at stand-up. I mean, stand-up comedians कहाँ से आ गए? अभी तो आए हैं. In the last decade, they're doing so well for themselves. कोई पहले सोच सकता है कि हंसाने में पैसा कमाओगे? Did you ever think of it? Now Netflix has a series over that. Whenever you want to laugh, just go and listen to them. They make so much of money. So things are changing. Let's trust the process. And more power to your son. And thank you for sharing your life. So thank you everyone for making my morning magical. Really, really grateful. Thank you, Pratima ji, for always complimenting. Good to see you in the morning session after a break. It was good to see Sailesh for like a couple of minutes. So nice to see the old Sanghas back. And lots of love to everyone. Let's see each other tomorrow morning at 5. Lots of love. Thank you, thank you, thank you.